the Sega Dreamcast, Sega's swan song to exiting the hardware market, and a what if that would play gamers' minds for the next 20 plus years. How's it going, everyone? Xander Skullion here, and today I want to talk about 5 games that define the Sega Dreamcast. And just a quick disclaimer, this is going to be all US released Dreamcast games, meaning no imports, no homebrews. That may be something for a future video, and of course this is all my list, my opinions. Be sure to leave a comment below and tell me some of your top 5 favorite Dreamcast games that really define that console. Now the first game I want to talk about is a little crazy. That's right, Crazy Taxi. Listen folks, I've always been drawn to racing games made by Sega. They've always been just a blast to play, from Outrun to Sega Rally to Daytona USA. Sign me up. And so when I saw Crazy Taxi in the arcades while all my friends were playing DDR, I saw this arcade and I was just drawn to it. And one thing that really struck a chord with me with Crazy Taxi was it was a free roam racing game, in the sense that you weren't having to take a certain path from point A to point B. You were a cabbie and you're picking up your fares and you're trying to make money, and everything was just completely just pandemonium and insane, and I absolutely loved that. So when it came out for the Dreamcast, I was so thrilled to play it, because not only did it capture that arcade essence, but also added some more tracks and a new mode called Gearbox, which was kind of like a mission-based endurance mode that was kind of shows you the ropes. It was a great training simulation, but also added a lot of replay value. And I cannot stress enough how Crazy Taxi is like a time capsule of the early 2000s. If you want to see what it was like entering the new millennium, play Crazy Taxi. It was full of Pizza Hut ads, KFC ads, and Offspring in the background. Now the next game I want to talk about is maybe a little controversial for some folks. It was a launch title, and in my opinion it really revolutionized the way we would look at the genre, and that is Blue Stinger. Listen, Blue Stinger is one of those games that as time progressed has become more of like a B-movie, like The Room kind of video game, where it's so bad it's good. Because I mean, the story itself is, you know, there's this dinosaur island and this meteor crashes. Plot twist, there are no dinosaurs, but you're playing as either Elliot or dogs, and each character has like their own attributes. Like Elliot's, you know, more faster and agile, he can use handguns, where dogs uses like shotguns and rocket launchers and can take more damage. Did I mention you can also buy weapons out of vending machines, and it has by far one of the best Christmas songs that's a constant rotation during my holiday season. Blue Stinger is just something special. Once you look past all the imperfections that this game has to offer, you can really see the ambition, because unlike some better survival horror games like say Resident Evil Code Veronica, Blue Stinger was a full 3D environment. Sure, the camera was a little wonky, the controls were a little stiff, the sense of direction was very convoluted like the voice acting, but listen.
Look at that. It's a bathtub. Cool.
What do you mean, cool?
You stink.
And before I mention the next game, I just want to say shame on Capcom and shame on Sega for not doing any more with this IP. They released 2 titles and they were fantastic. They had a re-release on the PSP and that was it. Of course, I'm talking about Power Stone. Power Stone on the Dreamcast is just something that's very, very special. It's a party fighting game. Like if you played games like Smash Brothers, you'll feel right at home. It has kind of that party 4-player co-op, having a good time, just beating the snot out of each other. I love the fact that just about everything on the stage, all in the environments, are weapons. If you want to pick up a palm tree, boom, throw a palm tree at their head. And you're just trying to collect all these gems, 3 gems in each stage, and your character transforms into this like super mode. Like, well, something that really stuck out to me is it almost made me think of like Power Rangers or Super Sentai. It was just something really zany and crazy, and in my opinion, I feel like it's very, very underappreciated. Not from the fans, but from the companies like Capcom and Sega. I really wish they would just do more with Power Stone. Now, I was really trying not to think of just generic games, but I think a lot of games that I've chosen are generic for a reason, because they really are special. And I feel like if I didn't mention this game, someone would be really upset. And of course, I'm going to mention Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is the essence of the Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast really celebrated the fighting game genre, and it's one of the reasons why I absolutely love that console. And Soul Calibur was, at the time in the arcades, like a high-tier 3D weapon-based fighting game. It was like Samurai Showdown meets Tekken. It was absolutely awesome. But like Crazy Taxi, it went up the ante on the release on the Sega Dreamcast, actually succeeding in not only graphical performance, but also gameplay performance and replayability with the Dreamcast port. Making the Dreamcast port more definitive than the arcade, which was completely unheard of back then. Soul Calibur is a classic for a reason. It has a wide roster of fighters to choose from, and it's a very smooth game, and it's one of those games that's aged really well. If you get Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, not only will you have a great fighting game that you can play with your friends, but also tons of secret modes and unlockables for single player that in today's gaming market would be a season pass or DLC. And my number one game that defined the Sega Dreamcast, it really shouldn't surprise a lot of people, but I'm gonna go with it. Shinmu. Listen, it's 2023, and I can honestly say if I were to talk to someone and Shinmu didn't tickle their fancy, I would understand it, because Shinmu isn't for everyone. But one thing that you cannot deny about Shinmu is it totally changed the way we looked at video games. This was a game that was really pushing the boundaries of what you could do in an open world sort of adventure. I mean, just the game itself, I always loved the story of, just this revenge, trying to find out what happened to your dad. It's this classic kung fu kind of action sort of movie that you would see in the 80s, and the aesthetics and just the sake of fanfare. I would spend hours, I'm telling you guys, I would spend hours driving the forklift to work in this game and making money and buying capsule toys because I wanted to collect my favorite Virtual Fighter characters.
Why so down?
I think a good one is ready to come out of this capsule toy machine. Please give me 100 yen.
Or just going to the bar and playing Space Harrier and Hang On. A lot of people would recognize Shinmu for mechanics like quick time events, but honestly I feel like it was so much more than just cheap thrills with Shinmu. It was really something special, and I'm so glad that if folks don't have a Dreamcast, they can enjoy the Shinmu HD collection, and in my opinion is a great way to be introduced to this series. Just gaming history wise, Shinmu's worth checking out at least once. And it definitely defines the Dreamcast. But anyway, guys, what are 5 games that define the Dreamcast for you? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts and opinions. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, but also hit the bell so you're notified of all future videos that come out on this channel, and also live streams. As always, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.